Chapter 14, The Strange Hobbies of Noble Girls. After eating, the three of them said goodbye at the door of the restaurant. Winnie and Bulk are going to practice equestrian, while Luowei plans to meet Troy outside the school. But before she got very far, she was stopped by Vino again. "Bitch, are you proud of yourself?" Weina stared at her fiercely. "You are indeed very successful in pretending, but this does not change the fact that you are a pariah." Luowei frowned. "Why are you so crazy?" Weina's face was ferocious. "I know, you said that just because you felt guilty and were afraid that I would expose you." "Wait a minute, Luowei. I have already written to the Holy Knights of the Holy See. As soon as they come, they will reveal your true face immediately." "Okay, then I'll wait," Luowei sneered. "Now, please get out of the way. Good dog. Don't get in the way." She was wondering in her heart. Weina had clearly believed that she was a noble before. Why did she suddenly rush out and say such things again? Who stimulated her again? There is only one possibility: Athena. Athena maintains her own identity and disdains taking action herself. She always instigates others to deal with her. With her character, she should be observing herself from a corner at this time. Luowei seemed to feel something and looked towards the second floor of the restaurant, and sure enough, she saw the blonde girl standing by the window. Athena didn't panic when she was discovered, with a faint smile on her pretty face. But her eyes were cold and contemptuous, with a hint of hatred and fear mixed in. It was as if he wanted to kill her, crush her bones, and dispose of her body. Luowei was full of suspicion. He'd just robbed her of the bedroom she was interested in. She wouldn't hate herself so much, would she? Or is there any other reason? Could it be that the people she sent to check her brought back some news? No, not that fast. From Syria to the northern coastal areas, it would take half a month at the fastest. So, what is the reason why Athena keeps causing trouble for her even when she is not sure that she is a civilian? Luowei fell into deep thought, always feeling that she had missed something, and she almost figured it out. Weina cursed for a long time, and when she looked closely, she saw that Luowei was distracted, and her face turned red and her neck was thick with anger. That was the most vicious curse that she had thought about for 2 whole days. "Bitch, you're looking for a beating." Weina's eyes turned red with anger, and she raised her hand to slap Luowei. "I'm going to smash your face." Luowei came back to her senses, grabbed her hand, and stepped forward. "That's enough, idiot." She tightened her fingers, and a murderous intent flashed in her eyes. "Vina, I have a bad temper and can kill people." Her hands were stained with the blood of many people. "How many heads do you, the daughter of a little earl, have enough for me to chop off?" "I ignore you just because I don't want to, not because I'm afraid of you. Crushing you to death is as easy as crushing an ant to death." The original owner was a fisherman, and his hands for farm work were much stronger than those of a delicate young lady. She squeezed Vina's wrist bones until they cracked, and her eyes were so dark that there was no light left. It wasn't until Weina begged for mercy in pain that Luowei slowly let go. "Be smart and don't let others take advantage of you." Weina's face turned from purple to gray, and she was very frightened. Luowei gave her a cold look, turned around, and walked outside the school. Weina shivered for a while and suddenly looked towards the window on the second floor. She has an impulsive and irritable personality, and she was easily used as a gunman in the territory in the past, but she is not hopelessly stupid. After Luowei reminded her, she also understood. Athena taking advantage of her. As soon as Luowei left the school, Troy walked out of nowhere. "It seems like this guy has been waiting for her around here." Luowei raised her eyebrows, and just as she was about to praise him for his contractual spirit, Troy extended his hand to her. "Gold coins." Luowei's expression disappeared in a second. "You were only worth a silver coin yesterday, and the price has increased today." Troy said angrily, "You said it was 1 gold coin a day." Luowei glanced at him. "I think I paid too much. You are worth a silver coin." Troy hesitated for a few times, then stretched out his hand. "That's okay. Give me the silver coins." "Luowei, if I don't have money, I won't give it." Troy looked at the money bag around her waist. It was bulging, which clearly meant she had money. He looked accusingly. Then what's in your wallet? Luo quickly covered the money bag and laughed to death. It was full of stones. It was a shame if you found out. Wait a minute, I'll give you something else. She dug into her sleeve and pulled out 3 black peppercorns. Pepper in this era was extremely expensive, costing as much as gold. Carrying a small handful of pepper when going out was a symbol of status and respectability. The price of pepper is high. In the Middle Ages, there were cases where merchants mixed silver shavings with pepper and were reported to jail. This shows how expensive this stuff is. A total of 5 pills were given out in the pharmacy class, and she took out 3. Here you go. Pepper. Troy's eyes lit up, and he looked at her appreciatively. You didn't tell me if there was pepper. He quickly took the pepper, put it under his nose, and smelled it with an expression of enjoyment, then gave her a reproachful look. How could such a valuable thing be left casually? What if it fell? He carefully put the pepper into the flat money bag. Luo caught a glimpse of his movements, but she didn't even notice. I don't know how pepper was discovered when there is no eastern continent in this world. Historically, the pepper sought after by Europeans was introduced from India and other places. The climate of the Western Plains continent is the same as that of Europe, which is not suitable for growing spices. Logically speaking, pepper should not appear. Luo suspected that there might be a continent in this world with a geographical environment similar to Asia. Unfortunately, she tried to find a map of this world before, but couldn't find it. Maps in this era were still a scarce resource. As strategic weapons, they were in the hands of kings and armies and out of reach of ordinary people. And even the king does not have a complete map of the continent. Because current surveying and mapping conditions are very backward, it may take several generations to draw a map. If the map is successfully drawn, it can become a family heirloom. Luo read more than a dozen books before she could barely piece together the locations of the 3 continents on Garan. But she only knows that the Western Plains is located in the northwest of the planet and has a humid climate. The wasteland is located in the south of the planet and has a dry climate. Troy, do you have a map of the mainland? Luo thought for a while and asked him, how could I have such a thing, and why do you need a map? Luo, I want to know if there is any land beyond the Western Plains and the wasteland. Troy said in a low voice, there is a legend that has been passed down for thousands of years. It is said that there is a continent called Mist Plains overseas, which is larger than the Western Plains and the wasteland combined. There were a lot of bounty hunters and adventurers who wanted to find that continent, but they all failed. When I was a child, I met an adventurer. He said that there were man-eating sea monsters and rough wind and waves overseas. He was the only one in their boat to escape, and he would never go on adventures on the sea again. Just like what she saw in the book. Luo began to think about the possibility of making herself into a mist noble. Anyway, the small fishing village where the original owner lived was also in the northernmost part of Xiuan continent, very close to the legendary thick fog belt. What are you thinking about? Troy asked. Nothing. Luo raised her head. I was wondering why you don't want to be a bounty hunter, but a mercenary. Mercenaries have been popular since ancient Greece. They mainly earn their living through war and adventure. When there is no war, they are very hungry. Bounty hunters are different. There have been bounty hunters since the beginning of the mainland. The main task of this ancient profession is to capture fugitives. Compared to mercenaries, bounty hunters are paid much more generously, and they don't have to flee across countries, making them more suitable for masters like him. Facing Luo questions, Troy subconsciously wanted to escape. No reason, he lowered his eyes, his tone a little stiff. I just like being a mercenary. Luo sighed. It seemed that this swordsman still had a story. Let's not talk about it anymore. She took out a wooden can from her lantern sleeve. Can you help me see if it's poisonous? Troy took the wooden jar, opened the seal, and took a look. His expression suddenly became serious. This is the juvenile form of the purgatory demon spider. How could you have such a thing? Luo shrugged. I don't know. It was lying on my quilt when I woke up the night before yesterday. Tell me quickly if it's poisonous, she urged. Troy snapped the lid shut. This is a poisonous monster. Ah, Luo Wei said worriedly. Then I can only keep it in a jar and can't let it out and touch it. Troy's temples jumped. I told you, it's highly poisonous. I know, but it's cute, isn't it? Luo Wei poked the wooden jar with her finger, remembering those big black eyes, and held her face in a cute way. Troy's face twisted for a moment. Infernal spider, cute? Are all aristocratic girls' hobbies so strange? Chapter 15 patents generosity. After being nagged by the rigid Troy, Luo Wei finally gave up her plan to raise the spider. She handed the spider to Troy and asked him to find out where it came from, preferably who put it there. Troy responded, "Where's Roman? Nothing happened to him, right?" Luo Wei asked concerned. What could happen to him? Troy disagreed. That kid is very clever. That's good. There's one more thing. Go find some kind of soil for me. Luo Wei described the characteristics of this soil in detail. It is white or off-white, very sticky when pinched, and has a glossy feel after rubbing it smooth. It is a soft mineral. Wait, Troy interrupted her. You said I only need to protect you. Why do you want me to do so many things? Luo Wei narrowed her eyes, revealing the ugly face of a capitalist. Do you still want gold coins? Troy shut his mouth. Okay, let's go do some errands. I'm going back to school first. Luo Wei didn't dare to stay outside the school for a long time. She always felt that someone would come out to kill her, etc. What's wrong? Luo Wei said displeased. Troy slowly held the hilt of the sword and looked behind her with sharp eyes. Someone is following you. Luo Wei felt a chill on her back and turned around suddenly. Where is it? No one answered. Troy had already drawn his sword and chased out. Luo Wei. This service attitude is really not good. The autumn wind made the back of her neck feel chilly, and she quickly ran back to school with her hands in her hands. The outside world is really too dangerous. Luo Wei originally made up her mind not to go out today, but she didn't expect that only 2 hours had passed before she stepped out of the school gate again. Because Huggins' store made the samples. 1 day earlier than she expected. It wasn't until she saw Barton with 2 big dark circles under his eyes that Luo Wei knew how the sample came out so quickly. Barton must have stayed awake for 2 whole nights. He looked unkempt, haggard and pale, as if his soul was about to fly away in the next second. Miss Luo Wei, what do you think of this fabric? Barton came forward holding a piece of cloth like a small handkerchief. Sit down quickly, Mr. Huggins. Your face looks a little bad. Luo Wei was really afraid that he would faint, so she quickly took the piece of embryonic cloth. The fabric is soft and white, smooth and delicate to the touch. When you lift it gently, it is as light as a gauze scarf. Yes, it's the fabric I want. Mr. Huggins, let someone draw up the deed. Barton rubbed his hands with a flattering smile on his face. Miss Luo Wei, I have something to ask you. I didn't know you. Excuse me, Mr. Huggins. Luo Wei put down the blank cloth and made a gesture of listening. Barton hesitated. That's right. I want to ask you, is this fabric really not for sale? He had a hunch that if Huggins' shop could mass-produce such fabrics and sell them, their family would definitely become the largest fabric merchant in the Principality of Lenkos. No, the largest fabric merchant in the Western Plains. At that time, countless gold coins will enter his pocket, and buckets of gold will flow into his shop from all over the mainland. Mountains of gold and silver, wealth and fame will be at your fingertips. Just thinking about that scene made Barton so excited that he almost fainted. The value of this piece of fabric, the value of those secret recipes, cannot be measured in money. Barton didn't know what technological innovation was, nor what a monopoly industry was, but he had a vague hunch that when these fabrics became popular, his life would change dramatically. This is not just a piece of fabric. This is his dream of getting rich. What's more, the secret recipe also mentions some assembly line production and some improved large machines. If Miss Luo Wei takes out those things, fabric merchants all over the world will no longer be able to compete with him for profit. Barton looked at Luo Wei eagerly, looking forward to her reply. Mr. Huggins, Luo Wei frowned. I remember I said long ago that this kind of fabric can only be used by me alone, and you agreed. Barton lowered his head in shame. Yes, you did say that. But he was still unwilling to give in and prayed humbly. What you said at the time was that you gave us a buyout price, so you didn't allow us to sell it to others. But what if we don't buy out the price and provide you with free clothes? The more Barton spoke, the more confident he became, and he puffed up his chest and promised, as long as you agree to Huggins' store selling this kind of fabric, I will cover all the clothes you need without paying a penny from you. And since Huggins' store uses your secret recipe, it will definitely pay you a price that satisfies you. Don't worry, Huggins' store is built with integrity and will never reveal your secret recipe. I won't expect to buy it out. I only ask that you agree to give us the right to use the secret recipe. As a businessman, Barton knows that money can make the world go round. Seeing that Luo Wei was still indifferent, he gritted his teeth and shouted, "How about 100 gold coins a month?" 100 金币. It's only been a month. Luo Wei's eyelids twitched. She didn't expect Barton to be so successful. She didn't dare to think about so much money. She originally thought that 10 gold coins a month would be enough. Seeing that she seemed to be moved, Barton knew there was something going on and immediately increased the stakes. Miss Luo Wei, 100 gold coins a month is just the base price for us to use your secret recipe. Every time I sell a cashmere garment like this in the future, I will give you 30% of the profit. Luo Wei was really excited, and even her heart was beating loudly. Can. As soon as she spoke, she was startled by her low and hoarse voice. Ahem. Luo Wei cleared her throat and spoke again. I agree, Mr. Huggins. You are such a generous businessman. Barton was breathing heavily, and he finished talking. He really finished talking. He knew that no one would go against money, not even noble ladies. For a moment, Barton's heart swelled as if he was about to fly. There is no business in the world that he, Barton Huggins, can't negotiate. After being excited for a while, Barton struck while the iron was hot. Then Miss Luo Wei, let's quickly draw up a deed. Now the people who are urging the people to draw up the deed are doing the opposite. Luo Wei smiled and nodded. Okay. During the process of drafting the deed, Barton calmed down a little. In fact, the price of 100 gold coins a month was really too high. It would take him 4 to 5 years to earn it. If it weren't for the fact that his father, Old Huggins, was a miser and that his ancestors had saved some money through business for generations, he really wouldn't be able to afford this price. But it doesn't matter. He has no regrets. Barton knew the value of those secret recipes. As long as he started working hard, the first batch of goods could be produced in 3 months. As long as the goods are shipped, he can quickly make back his money. It's just that he rested on his laurels for the first 3 months. He can resist. After signing the deed, Luo Wei smiled brightly. Mr. Huggins, I admire your generosity and decisiveness, so I decided to give you some gifts. Barton asked happily, Oh, my distinguished lady, what gift do you want to give me? Luo Wei raised her chin reservedly. You're a fabric merchant, so I will give you some secret recipes related to fabrics. The secret recipe for a fabric. Barton was so delighted that he almost couldn't help but jump up from his stool. Yes, there are some fabric dyeing recipes, as well as a design drawing of the spinning machine and the lifting machine. I will have someone deliver it to your shop tomorrow. I believe that with these things, Barton's production speed of cashmere fabric will be shortened a lot. However, Mr. Huggins, I have to warn you about these 2 machines. Luo Wei said seriously. Barton sat up straight. Say, you can't leak the secret recipes of these 2 machines. It's not because I'm stingy, but because once such a machine spreads, it may kill you. Jenny's spinning machine was a symbol of the beginning of the first industrial revolution. She did not want the enclosure movement to come early due to the development of the textile industry. The phenomenon of sheep cannibalizing humans has already happened once in Europe in the last life. Chapter 16, Astrology. Cutting off someone's wealth is like killing one's parents. Of course, Barton understands this. If these secret recipes spread, those small workshops will definitely not survive. A large number of citizens will lose their source of income, and the price of woolen cloth on the market will also decrease. This is not what he wants to see. Barton immediately promised that he would use these secret recipes with caution and would never leak them. After signing the deed, Luo Wei received her first income in this world. 100 gold coins is approximately equivalent to 1 million yuan in the real world. It may seem like a lot, but for those nobles, it can't even sustain their daily expenses. In this era, a baron alone owned nearly 30,000 acres of arable land and had about 20 knights as vassals. The territory of a knight was 1,500 acres, which was roughly equivalent to a village. Like Verna's father, Earl Wesley, he had a higher title and owned more farmland. The Earl has nearly 100,000 acres of cultivated land, more than 60 knights, and a large group of retinues, and an army of 1,000 to 2,000 people. Luo Wei wants to pretend to be a noble, and her living standards should at least be in line with that of a baron's lady. Not only must she prepare carriages, knights, and servants, but she must also customize her family crest, tableware, clothing, etc. But because she only said harsh words to Wei Na at noon, implying that her status is much higher than hers, her living standards need to be improved. At the very least, she has to portray herself as the daughter of a certain feudal marquis, and she has to be the one with the right to inherit. I really dug a big hole for myself. Only then did Luo Wei feel a headache. Every time she told a lie, she would have to cover it up with a bigger lie. She was really going further and further on the road to death. Forget it. It's useless to regret what you've already done. It's better to make more money in the future so that you have a higher chance of success in escaping with your life. If you were as rich as a country, you might even be able to buy your life with money. That night, Luo Wei slept soundly with 100 gold coins on her pillow. In the dream, the 100 gold coins generated money, and soon piled up into a mountain of gold, almost drowning her. She was laughing so hard that she couldn't even close her mouth from ear to ear. Unfortunately, dreams must eventually wake up. When the first ray of sunlight in the morning passed through the crack of the window, the golden mountain turned into smoke and completely disappeared from her eyes. Knock, knock, knock. Hearing the knock on the door, Luo Wei climbed out of bed with difficulty, rubbed her swollen face from sleep, and went over to open the door. The person who knocked on the door was an elderly mute mother-in-law who was responsible for delivering hot water to the noble ladies on this floor. Last night, she went to the water room to renew the water delivery fee for half a year. From then on, someone delivered hot water to the room every morning. After washing up, it was almost 7:30. Luo Wei went out and headed to the astrology classroom in the junior department. After learning that there is real magic in this world, the mystery of astrology in her heart skyrocketed, and she was expelled from the physics school. Western astrology originated from the ancient Mesopotamian plains. It mainly uses astrological changes to explain and predict people's fate, which is a bit like ancient Chinese fortune-telling. I wonder if astrology in this world is the same. In the classroom, some students were discussing the professor of this course, Dame Tobias. Dame Tobias's full name is Jacqueline Tobias, and her life experience is very legendary. She was originally from a noble family, and even if she did nothing, she would still be able to live a wealthy life that would make others envious. But she also has extremely high magical talent and a very smart brain. When she was a girl, she was predicted by the Archbishop of the Temple that she would become a great magician. At that time, many heirs of the kingdom proposed to her, but she rejected them all. Everyone thought she wanted to devote herself to practicing magic, but they didn't expect that she had a rebellious heart. She went to a deserted place and isolated herself from the world for more than 10 years, and then came out and became an astrologer. The women who were jealous of Jacqueline all laughed at her for being out of her mind, but they laughed and discovered that Jacqueline had been invited by the temple to become the archbishop. A woman an archbishop? Before anyone could begin to question, Jacqueline demonstrated her unparalleled ability in astrology. The success rate of stargazing and timing was almost 100%. With her presence, a country's crop harvest can be increased by half. Since then, Jacqueline has received knighthood edicts from several kingdoms one after another, and has become a baroness based on her own strength. Listening to her classmates tell her story, Luo Wei felt like she was reading a novel about a heroine. The hostess was sober and focused on her career. During this period, she kept slapping others in the face and finally reached the pinnacle of her life. The time of gossip always passes very fast. In a blink of an eye, the hour hand points to 8 o'clock. The heroine of the story, Jacqueline Tobias, finally arrived in the classroom. She wore a long black dress and a wide black gauze hat on her head. Her long dark brown hair mixed with a few strands of silver was combed into a high bun, and most of her face was hidden in the shadows. If you just looked at her hair, you would probably think she was an elderly person. But if you move your eyes downward, you will find that her skin is plump, her lips are red, and her skin is so white that it glows, making it impossible to tell her true age. In fact, her age is indeed a mystery. Countess Tobias is a mysterious person even when lecturing. She never took off her wide-brimmed hat. Her deep eyes peeked out from the black gauze, and the corners of her bright red mouth were slightly upturned, as if she could see through people's hearts. Especially when her hand touches the crystal-clear ball, the mysterious aura that she inadvertently exudes is even more heart-stopping. Luo Wei didn't see her face clearly and didn't dare to stare at her. It would be terrible if she discovered his origin at a glance. Fortune tellers always have some weird abilities. What if this Western Taoist priest can also open his eyes? Fortunately, Professor Tobias didn't look at them most of the time. She was drawing a star chart with her back to everyone, explaining the positions and trajectories of the planets and what they represented. These contents lasted 2 hours before ending. After a 15-minute break, the class continued. Tobias stopped talking about astrology, but took out a reddish-brown sandalwood box, placed it on the lecture table, and asked them to line up to get the teaching aids. What teaching aids can be packed in such a small box? Just as Luo Wei was wondering, she heard waves of exclamations coming from the front. It's a crystal ball! Wow, there's another one! Hey, why did I open a tarot card? I know, it's the space magic pattern. It's so powerful. No. Not only that, this box should be the masterpiece of a weapon refiner. Otherwise, it would not be able to carry such a powerful magic pattern. Not only that, there seems to be traces of summoning magic patterns engraved on it. Double magic patterns. How is this done? The team moved slowly, and it wasn't until Luo Wei was approaching the desk that she saw clearly what was happening. It turns out that the sandalwood box is a treasure. Every time it is opened, an item will be refreshed inside, maybe a crystal ball or a tarot card. According to her observation, there are many people who draw tarot cards, but only 7 or 8 people who draw crystal balls. Does refreshing items depend on luck or talent? When it was Luo Wei's turn, she had been an African chief for many years and prayed in her heart for several seconds before she dared to reach out and open the sandalwood box and look inside expectantly. Ha! Why is it so green?